The stars stretched endlessly across the darkness of space. Among them, a small ship drifted slowly, its silver hull scarred and battered. Inside, a group of aliens huddled together, their large eyes reflecting the dim emergency lights. They were the Zyran, a species from a distant world that had been destroyed in a sudden, violent attack. Every day since the attack had been a fight for survival, and now they had nowhere to go. The ship's engines were failing, and their supplies were almost gone. Fear and exhaustion weighed heavily on everyone. Among them, a young Zyran named Talon sat near the control panel, his long fingers tracing the scratches on the console. He had never been on a ship this small, and the cramped space made him restless. He glanced at the others. His sister Lyra rested on a soft mat, trying to sleep, though her breathing was uneven. Their parents worked quietly, checking supplies and trying to maintain the fragile systems that kept them alive. No one spoke much. The silence was heavy, broken only by the occasional beep of warning lights. Talon turned back to the window and looked at the tiny blue planet that had appeared on their scanners. He had heard stories about this world from old Zyran explorers, stories of its oceans and forests, and of a species called humans. They were said to be curious and brave, though sometimes reckless. He did not know what to expect, but hope sparked faintly in his chest. Maybe this planet could offer them a new beginning. Meanwhile, far across space, human eyes were watching. In a space monitoring station orbiting near the outer edge of the solar system, a young scientist named Mira studied a series of unusual readings. Her fingers danced over the console as she traced the signals. The readings were inconsistent, but they indicated a ship moving without following any known trajectory. She leaned closer, her curiosity growing. "This is unusual," she said to herself. "It doesn't match anything we know. It's moving slowly, and it seems damaged." Her supervisor, a calm man named Draven, came over and looked at the screen. "Could be a rogue asteroid," he suggested, though his voice lacked certainty. Mira shook her head. "It's controlled for an asteroid. There's some form of guidance, and it's broadcasting signals. They might be trying to communicate." Draven frowned. "Signals? From an unknown source? It could be dangerous. We have protocols for unidentified ships. Should we alert Earth Command?" Mira hesitated. She knew the rules, but something inside her urged caution. These signals were weak, desperate almost. "Yes," she said finally, "but we should try to make contact first. If they are in trouble, they need help." Back on the Zyran ship, Talon adjusted the navigation controls. The ship shuddered under stress, a low rumble echoing through the hull. "We cannot hold much longer," he said softly. His voice trembled, though he tried to hide it. His father, Varan, placed a long arm on his shoulder. "We must try," Varan said calmly. "Earth is close. If the stories are true, the humans will help those in need. We have no choice but to hope." Talon nodded. He glanced at Lyra, whose eyes were half open. "Do you think they will accept us?" he asked quietly. Lyra shook her head. "I don't know, but we must try. We have no other world left." The journey through space was slow and tense. The Zyran ship emitted a weak signal, trying to reach the human stations. Mira watched the readings carefully, noticing patterns in the transmissions. She could not understand their language, but she sensed urgency. "We need to prepare a team," she said to Draven. "This is not just an anomaly. These beings are alive, and they are calling for help." Draven looked uneasy. "Do you understand what you are suggesting? This could be the first contact with an alien species. If they are hostile." "They are not hostile," Mira interrupted firmly. "Look at the signals. They are weak, almost pleading. They are in danger." After hours of discussion, Earth Command agreed to allow a rescue mission, led by Mira and a small team of specialists. The ship prepared to meet the Zyran halfway, carrying medical supplies, food, and communication devices. Everyone knew it was risky, but Mira felt certain they could succeed. Meanwhile, the Zyran approached the solar system. Talon monitored the instruments nervously. The planets looked different from what he had imagined. The blue and green of the planet in front of them was striking. He felt a mixture of fear and wonder. He activated the communication device once more, sending the same weak signal, hoping someone would respond. Back at the human station, Mira's heart raced as she confirmed a response. The signal was faint but definite. "They are alive," she whispered. "They are really alive." The human rescue team set their ship to intercept. Mira watched as the small, battered Zyran ship appeared on their monitors. The humans prepared carefully, sending calm, non-threatening messages to the Zyran. The aliens hesitated, unsure if they could trust this new species. On board the Zyran ship, Talon felt his hands tremble as the communication came through. A human voice spoke, strange and different, yet soothing. "We are here to help. You are not alone. Please follow our guidance." Varan nodded to his son. "This is the moment," he said. "We must trust them. We have no other choice." The Zyran ship slowly adjusted its course, following the instructions from the human team. Mira watched as they approached the edge of the solar system, keeping a safe distance while guiding the aliens toward Earth. As they moved closer, the Zyran saw the planet in greater detail. The ocean sparkled in the sunlight. Clouds moved gently across the land. The surface was alive with colors and shapes they had never seen before. A small part of them felt fear at the unknown, but another part felt hope. This world could be a new home. Finally, after tense hours of navigation, the Zyran ship entered Earth's orbit. The human team guided them toward a safe landing zone, a remote desert prepared for this unprecedented event. The Zyran could see the mountains and flat lands below, stretching endlessly. "This is it," Varan said quietly. "This is the place where we may live again." Talon's hands hovered over the controls, his eyes wide. Lyra clung to his arm. "Be careful," she whispered. The landing was slow and careful. The human team monitored every move. Mira's hands were steady, but her heart pounded. She had never witnessed a first contact like this. Finally, the Zyran ship touched down gently on the soft desert ground. A silence filled the area. Dust settled around the ship. Then the hatch opened slowly. Out stepped Varan first, tall and careful. He looked at the humans waiting nearby. Their appearance was strange, yet there was no hostility in their eyes. Mira stepped forward, her hands raised in greeting. "Welcome," she said simply. "We are here to help." Talon and Lyra followed, nervous but curious. They looked at the humans with caution. Then, one by one, the Zyran began to relax slightly. These beings were different, yes, but they offered safety and kindness. For the first time in many weeks, the Zyran felt a spark of hope. They had nowhere to go before. Now, perhaps, they had found a place where they could survive. As the sun began to rise over the desert, the humans led the Zyran toward temporary shelters. Mira explained the basics of Earth life, and the Zyran listened closely, eager to learn. Their eyes reflected both fear and wonder. They were far from home, but they were alive, and that was a beginning. That night, as the desert grew quiet under a sky filled with stars, Talon looked up. He could still see the small dot of their ship hovering nearby. He thought of their lost world and their long journey, but he also thought of the humans and the courage it had taken for them to reach out. Perhaps, he realized, there was a chance for a new story to begin, one where humans and Zyran could face the universe. Together, and on Earth, Mira watched them settle in. She felt a deep sense of pride. Humanity had made the choice to help, even when fear was an option. That choice, she knew, would change the course of history. The Zyran had nowhere to go before. Now, for the first time, they were not alone. The desert was quiet under the rising sun. The Zyran stood on the soft sand, their large eyes blinking as they took in the strange, new world. Mountains stretched in the distance, and the flat land around them shimmered in the heat. The humans had prepared shelters and tents, simple structures to keep the aliens safe and comfortable. Smoke from small heaters rose in thin spirals, and the sound of running water from portable tanks added a gentle rhythm to the morning. Mira led the Zyran carefully, explaining each step. "This is your temporary home," she said. "You will have food, water, and shelter. Everything you need to rest and recover." Varan nodded, though his face remained serious. "We are grateful," he said. "We have not known peace in many cycles. This place is strange, but safe Talon looked around with curiosity. He had never seen a desert like this. Back on his homeworld, the land had been filled with green forests and rivers. Here, everything was wide and open. The sun felt hotter, brighter. He glanced at Lyra, who walked beside him, her long fingers brushing the sand. "They call this a desert," Talon said softly. "It feels alive, but it is different." "Yes," Lyra replied. "Different, but not bad. Maybe we can learn." The humans had arranged for medical checks first. Doctors and scientists moved carefully among the Zyran, checking for injuries and signs of fatigue. The Zyran were strong, but the journey had taken a toll. Mira stayed close to Talon and Lyra, speaking softly, offering comfort when they seemed nervous. "You will feel better soon," she said. "You have survived the long journey. Now you can rest after the checks." The Zyran were led to simple tents filled with soft mats and blankets. They sat quietly, taking in the human gestures of kindness. They had been treated with fear and hostility on many worlds before, but here, no one raised weapons. No one shouted commands. Humans moved carefully, with patience and respect. Varan studied the humans with a keen eye. "They are different from what we expected," he said. "Stronger, yes, but gentle. This may be a place for our kind to survive." That afternoon, Mira arranged a small demonstration for the Zyran. She brought out tools, machines, and supplies, showing them how humans lived, ate, and worked. Talon watched closely, fascinated by the devices that could produce light, water, and food quickly. Lyra was particularly interested in the ways humans communicated with one another, using sound and images, these tools. "They are simple," Talon said, "but clever. Your species can solve many problems with small actions." Mira smiled. "Yes, we rely on our minds and our hands. We have learned to adapt. That is how we survive." Meanwhile, some humans in the nearby observation area whispered among themselves. "Are they safe?" One asked. "Can we trust them?" Another human replied, "They are strange, yes. But look at them. They are scared, not hostile. We can help. That is what matters." Despite the kindness, not all humans were convinced. There was fear. There were questions about what might happen if the Zyran tried to leave, or if they misunderstood human intentions. Draven watched carefully from a distance, noting the interactions. He was cautious, but he respected Mira's belief and compassion. As evening fell, the Zyran tent glowed softly from lanterns. Talon and Lyra sat near each other, speaking in low voices. They spoke of their lost world, of the fire and destruction that had driven them into space. They spoke of their journey and the hope that had carried them here. "We survived," Lyra said quietly, "but we cannot survive alone. We need them." "Yes," Talon replied. "These humans, they may be our chance. They are different from all others. They are not cruel. We must learn from them, and maybe they can learn from us." The next morning, Mira arranged a meeting between the Zyran and some human engineers. The humans wanted to learn about the Zyran technology, which was unlike anything they had seen. In return, they explained basic human devices and machines, showing the Zyran how to purify water, generate electricity, and grow food efficiently. The Zyran were quick learners. Talon studied carefully, his sharp mind absorbing information. Lyra focused on communication, learning basic words and gestures. Varan observed quietly, making careful notes. "This is valuable," Varan said. "Your species can teach us as we can teach you. Together, we may grow stronger." Mira felt a surge of hope. "Yes, that is exactly the idea. We can share knowledge and survive together." The day passed with learning and observation. Humans and Zyran worked side by side. Small moments of connection began to form. A Zyran child pointed at a machine and smiled when a human showed how it worked. A human engineer laughed softly when a Zyran adult mimicked a gesture incorrectly, but with good intent. The bonds were small but real. However, not everything was easy. Misunderstandings arose. The Zyran were taller and moved differently, which sometimes caused accidental collisions. Some humans were wary of their sharp senses and unusual behaviors. Talon accidentally knocked over a water container, causing a small panic. I am sorry, he said quickly, bowing slightly. Lyra helped pick up the containers. One human stepped forward calmly. It's okay. We understand. You are not used to this place. We can show you carefully. This moment became a turning point. Both sides realized that mistakes were natural. Learning each other's ways required patience and trust. As days passed, the Zyron began to explore more. They walked across the desert, marveling at the colors of plants and the shapes of animals. They discovered rivers, small rocks that sparkled in the sun, and the wind that carried smells and sounds they had never known. Each discovery was a small wonder, and Mira often accompanied them, pointing out details and answering their questions. At night, they gathered around a fire. The Zyron had never seen fire used this way, to warm, to cook, and to create light. They shared stories of their homeworld, of rivers, forests, and cities that had once thrived. The humans listened, fascinated. Varan spoke softly to Mira. Your species has a gift. You can listen. You can understand. That is rare in the universe. That is why this place may become a home for us. Mira nodded. We try to understand. We are not perfect, but we believe that compassion is stronger than fear. That is what matters. The Zyron slowly began to trust. Lyra learned to speak simple human words, greeting Mira and others with warmth. Talon showed the humans some of their technology, including a small device that could clean water quickly. Humans were impressed and began thinking of ways to combine Zyron technology with their own. Yet, the desert remained vast and empty. The Zyron knew that this was only the beginning. Earth was strange and new, but it offered safety and opportunity. They had survived the journey, and now, for the first time in cycles, they could breathe without fear. One afternoon, a human engineer named Jorn asked the Zyron to help build a small irrigation system for the desert plants. Talon and Lyra worked carefully with Jorn, learning human techniques while sharing their own. The collaboration was slow but meaningful. Each success strengthened trust. Each challenge taught patience. At night, Mira walked with Varan. Do you think they will be accepted? She asked. Varan looked thoughtful. Some humans may fear us, some may doubt, but those who see courage and kindness will understand. Your species is capable of great good. That is why we came here. Not to conquer, but to survive with those who are brave enough to care. Mira smiled. Then we will continue. We will show everyone that working together makes us stronger. That is the message we must carry. The Zyron and humans continued learning from one another. Children from both sides began to play nearby, mimicking gestures and sharing simple games. Laughter filled the air, strange and beautiful, uniting the species that had never known each other. By the end of the week, the Zyron had grown more comfortable. They knew the humans were trustworthy. They knew that Earth could be a home. Talon and Lyra often looked at the night sky, remembering their lost world but feeling hope for the future. Mira watched them with pride. Humanity had chosen to help. Humanity had chosen courage over fear. And in doing so, they had given life a chance to continue in the universe. The Zyron had arrived with nowhere to go. Now, for the first time, they had safety, learning, and connection. Earth was not yet home in every sense, but it was a beginning. And beginnings, they all knew, could grow into a future brighter than any star. The desert was quiet in the early morning. Sunlight stretched over the sand and rocks, warming the small settlement where humans and Zyron now lived side by side. Life was beginning to settle into a rhythm. The Zyron had grown stronger after the journey and the medical care from human doctors. They learned quickly, and the humans were eager to teach and share. Talon and Lyra were up early. As usual, they walked carefully toward the small water tank that the humans had set up. The water flowed clean and clear, a gift they had never imagined possible after the long journey. Talon dipped his hands in the water and splashed a little. Lyra laughed, a soft sound that mirrored the humans joined nearby. Careful, said Mira, approaching them. The tank is for everyone, but I'm glad you are enjoying it. Talon looked up at her. It is strange, he said. Water like this is rare in the universe. It is life itself. Mira smiled. Yes, and now you have it every day. As the days passed, the Zyron began to explore more. They walked across the desert, observing plants and small animals. Humans accompanied them, pointing out details and teaching them about Earth life. The Zyran were curious and careful. They learned about the sun, the wind, and the plants that could be eaten. Every new detail was a lesson, and every lesson built trust. One afternoon, Mira arranged for the Zyran to meet a group of local human children. The children were cautious at first. They had never seen creatures like the Zyran, tall and slender with wide, dark eyes and long fingers. But the Zyran smiled and bowed slightly, a gesture of peace. The children smiled back. Talon knelt to show he meant no harm. Lyra waved gently. Soon, the children were laughing and playing simple games. They tossed small stones, made patterns in the sand, and even taught the Zyran a clapping game. Laughter filled the air, a sound that had been rare on the Zyran ship for a long time. Meanwhile, the adults worked together. Human engineers and Zyran scientists shared ideas. Talon showed how their small water purification device could be combined with human technology to make more efficient systems. The humans were impressed. They had never thought of such methods before. "This is clever," said Joran, a human engineer. "We could use this for many areas on Earth. It could help people who have little water." Varan nodded. "Our technology is simple but effective. Humans and Zyran together can create something better than either could alone." Yet, not all moments were smooth. Misunderstandings occurred. The Zyran sensed vibrations in ways humans did not. A simple movement, a tap, or gesture could be misread. One morning, Talon accidentally knocked over a small human tool. The humans jumped back, startled. "I am sorry," Talon said immediately, bowing. Lyra helped pick up the tools. "It is okay," said Mira calmly. "It was an accident. You are learning. We are learning from you as well." The Zyran began to notice human emotions more closely. They observed fear, joy, and curiosity. Lyra whispered to Talon one night, "Humans are strange. They feel so many things at once. But they are kind." "Yes," Talon replied. "Their minds are sharp. Their hearts are brave. That is why they helped us." One morning, the humans invited the Zyran to a demonstration of Earth machines. Large panels of solar cells reflected the sunlight. Small robots moved carefully across the desert, performing tasks humans had designed. The Zyran watched, fascinated. "These machines are clever," said Varan. "But your species. It is your mind that makes them powerful. You see solutions where others may not." Mira nodded. "Yes, that is what we call ingenuity. We use what we have to solve problems. And now we are learning from you as well." Talon showed the humans a small device that could measure water purity in seconds. The humans were amazed. They had never seen anything like it. The device was small, simple, but precise. Joran and other engineers began thinking of ways to combine it with their systems. By evening, a calm routine had formed. Zyran and humans ate together, shared stories, and exchanged knowledge. The Zyran told of their homeworld, of rivers and forests, of cities that had been vibrant before the attack. The humans listened, fascinated, but tension was not entirely gone. Some humans remained cautious. They worried that the Zyran might misunderstand customs or accidentally cause harm. There were debates at the observation tents. "They seem kind," said one observer. "But they are not like us. Can we truly trust them?" Another replied, "We must trust. Look at what they have endured. Fear would not have brought them here alive. Compassion brought them here, and we must respond the same way." The Zyran also faced challenges. Their senses were sharp, and sometimes they became overwhelmed by noise or sudden movement. Talon once recoiled from the sound of a small helicopter flying overhead. Mira noticed and guided him to a quiet area. "Your senses are strong," she said. "It is normal to be startled. You will adjust." Talon nodded. "We will try. We must learn." As the week continued, small achievements built confidence. The Zyran learned to operate basic human tools. Lyra helped Mira in setting up simple shelters. Talon worked with engineers on water systems. Children played together across the sand. Each step built trust and understanding. One afternoon, a small accident reminded everyone that care was still needed. A Zyran child, curious and eager, wandered too close to a machine. It whirred and beeped unexpectedly. A human engineer ran forward, catching the child safely. "I am sorry," the Zyran parent said immediately. "We did not see. It is okay," the engineer replied. "We all learn. You are not to blame. But you must watch carefully." The Zyran nodded, understanding. Each day was a lesson in patience and care. Each step forward strengthened bonds. By the end of the second week, both species were learning from each other. Zyran technology and human ingenuity combined in small projects. Children laughed and played. Adults discussed ideas late into the night. The desert settlement had become alive with cooperation and hope. Talon and Lyra often walked together at sunset, gazing at the horizon. "Do you think we can stay here?" Lyra asked. "I think so," Talon replied. "Humans are strong in mind and heart. They helped us when no one else would. If we stay together, we can survive." Varan watched from nearby. "Your species is different from many in the galaxy," he said quietly. "You are not cruel. You act with courage and care. That is rare. That is why this place can become a home for us." Mira listened nearby. "And it will," she said softly. "We will continue to help. We will continue to learn from each other. Together, we are stronger." As night fell, the stars shone brightly above. The Zyran looked up, remembering the emptiness of space and the danger they had fled. Now, for the first time, they felt a spark of peace. They were learning, growing, and building connections. They had faced fear, and humans had met them with courage. In the quiet desert, humans and Zyran shared a small meal under lantern light. They spoke of the day's work, of lessons learned, and of discoveries yet to come. The Zyran realized that survival was not enough. They wanted to live, to learn, and to thrive. Mira watched the children play together, laughter echoing across the sand. She knew challenges would come, and misunderstandings would arise. But she also knew that trust, patience, and courage could overcome fear. Humans had shown it already. Now, the Zyran were learning it as well. As the night deepened, Talon and Lyra rested together in their tent. "Do you feel safe?" Lyra asked. "Yes," Talon replied. "For the first time in cycles, I feel safe. Humans are different from what we feared. They are strong and kind. We will survive here." The Zyran had come to Earth with nowhere to go. Now they had safety, knowledge, and friendship. They were beginning to understand the humans and themselves in a new way. This was not the end of their journey, but a new chapter. Tomorrow, they would learn more, explore more, and grow more. Each day was a step toward understanding, each moment a bridge between worlds. Humanity had chosen to help. The Zyran had chosen to trust. Together, they were building a future that was brighter than any star. The desert was quiet under the bright sun, but tension hung in the air like heat waves rising from the sand. Humans and Zyran had settled into a careful rhythm, learning from one another, laughing together, and building trust. But the peace was about to be tested. In the far reaches of space, beyond the planets of the solar system, a fleet of alien ships moved silently. These ships were the same species that had destroyed the Zyran homeworld. They had been searching the galaxy for survivors, and now their sensors had detected the Zyran on Earth. Their intent was clear: finish what they had started, back on Earth. Mira monitored the skies from the research station. The Zyran had been asking questions about the stars, about threats in space. Mira had reassured them that Earth's sensors could detect dangers. Now, she wished her reassurance had been wrong. "Draven," she called, her voice tense. "You need to see this." Draven moved quickly to her side. The screen showed multiple objects moving toward the inner solar system at high speed. "Unidentified fleet," he said. His face tightened. "This is not a normal threat. They are organized. They are armed. They are coming for the Zyran," Mira said quietly. "We have to warn them. We have to act." Varan stood nearby, observing. He had sensed danger even before the humans detected it. His eyes were narrow and focused. "Yes," he said. "They will not stop until the Zyran are gone. We must prepare." Mira immediately gathered the Zyran and human teams. Engineers, scientists, and security personnel met to discuss a plan. The Zyran shared what they knew of their enemy, Their fleet was powerful, fast, and merciless. Humans shared what they could: weapons, shields, and strategies they had used in minor skirmishes near Earth. "This will not be easy," Draven said. "We are defending Earth and the Zyron. We do not know the full strength of the enemy." Varan stepped forward. "We know their ways. They rely on fear and power. Humans rely on thought and creativity. If we combine our knowledge, we can outthink them." Mira nodded. "Exactly. We have to act together. Humans and Zyron, side by side. That is our only chance." Preparations began immediately. Engineers worked with Zyron scientists to enhance Earth defenses. Energy shields were extended, and communication lines were reinforced. The Zyron shared their technology, small but precise, to improve detection and targeting systems. Humans adapted it, creating devices that could predict the enemy's movements. Talon and Lyra were assigned to assist with technical adjustments. They worked alongside Jorn and other engineers, fitting Zyron devices to human systems. Talon studied the human machines with fascination. "Your systems are strong," he said, "but with Zyron precision, they will be faster and more accurate." "Yes," Jorn replied. "That is the idea. Together, we can do something neither species could do alone." Even the children participated in small ways. They were asked to help by learning basic signals and alert systems. They took it seriously, practicing drills in the desert under the guidance of human teachers. Laughter mixed with focus, showing that courage could start small. As the enemy fleet approached, tension grew. Mira watched the monitors closely. "They are closer than expected," she said. "They will arrive in hours." Varan observed the Zyron team. "Do not fear," he said. "Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the choice to act despite it." Talon and Lyra nodded. They had felt fear before. They had fled their homeworld, watched it destroyed, and now faced another threat. But they also trusted the humans, and they trusted themselves. The first wave of enemy ships entered the edge of Earth's detection range. They were fast, sleek, and menacing. Humans and Zyron worked together, tracking each ship and predicting its path. Talon adjusted a Zyron device, sending precise signals to improve targeting. Mira watched in awe. The Zyron technology was simple but brilliant. Combined with human calculations, it created a defense grid that could anticipate enemy maneuvers. The enemy fleet attacked with precision. Lasers cut through the sky, striking empty areas as shields absorbed the impact. Explosions lit the atmosphere in bright flashes. The humans and Zyron coordinated carefully, moving resources, activating shields, and preparing countermeasures. Talon and Lyra worked quickly, sending data back to human operators. "Adjust shield frequency," Talon shouted. "They will target that area next." Jorn and the human engineers followed his guidance. A shield pulsed, absorbing the incoming energy and redirecting it safely. The first strike had been deflected. "Excellent work." Mira called, "Keep it steady." The enemy tried a new tactic, sending a smaller group of ships to flank Earth from an unexpected angle. Varan predicted the movement. "They expect us to react slowly," he said. "We will act faster." He instructed a group of Zyron scientists to combine their sensors with human targeting systems. Together, they created a trap, guiding the enemy ships into a corridor where energy pulses could disable them without destruction. The plan worked. Several enemy ships were caught in the pulse, disabled but not destroyed. The humans and Zyron celebrated quietly, knowing that every saved life was important. Mira's eyes never left the screens. "They are learning," she said. "They are adapting. We can hold them off." Hours passed. The battle continued with precision and care. Humans and Zyron communicated constantly, adjusting shields, predicting enemy movements, and repairing minor damages. Every individual had a role. Every effort counted. Talon looked at the human pilots. They move with skill and determination. "They are strong in ways we have not seen before," he said. "Yes," Lyra replied. "Strength comes from courage and teamwork. That is why we survive." Varan watched quietly. Humans have a gift. They face the unknown with thought and heart. That is why this planet can protect us. That is why we fight together. As the sun set, the battle reached a turning point. The enemy fleet, surprised by the coordinated defense, began to retreat. Their precision and power were formidable, but they had underestimated the combination of human ingenuity and Zyran technology. Mira let out a deep breath. "We held them," she said. "We actually held them." Varan smiled faintly. "Yes, together, we are strong. Alone, we would not have survived. But united, we can overcome." The Zyran cheered quietly, relieved and proud. They had feared the enemy for so long, but now they had faced them and survived. Talon looked at Lyra. "This is what hope feels like," he said softly. Lyra nodded. "And this is what trust looks like. We trusted humans, and they trusted us. Together, we survived." Mira walked among the Zyran, checking on them. "You were brave," she said, "and your help saved lives. This is the beginning of something greater. This is what happens when we work together." The humans also celebrated quietly. They had never faced such a challenge, and they had risen to it. They had defended Earth, yes, but they had also defended hope, courage, and the possibility of life for the Zyran. That night, under a sky filled with stars, both humans and Zyran gathered. Fires burned softly, tents glowed with warm light, and children laughed quietly in the background. Mira looked at the Zyran leaders. "You are safe now," she said. "The threat is past, and we will continue to protect you." Varan nodded. "Your species is wise and brave. You did not hesitate. You acted with thought and heart. That is rare in the universe. That is why Earth is worthy to be a home for us." Talon and Lyra lay down in their tent, exhausted but relieved. "Do you think they will come back?" Lyra asked quietly. "I do not know," Talon replied. "But we are ready. We have learned, and we are not alone. That is what matters." The night was calm. The desert stretched into the distance, quiet and still. Stars reflected hope and promise in the Zyran's eyes. They had survived space, escape, an enemy attack. Now, for the first time, they felt strong and safe. Mira walked among the humans, her thoughts quiet. Humanity had faced fear, uncertainty, and the unknown. They had chosen courage, wisdom, and compassion. They had defended life that was not their own, and in doing so, they had proven that humanity could shine in the galaxy. The Zyran had come with nowhere to go. Now they had Earth, allies, and hope. They had faced destruction and found life again. And they knew, in the quiet of the night, that together, humans and Zyran could face whatever the universe might bring. Tomorrow would be a day of rebuilding, learning, and planning for the future. But tonight, they rested. They celebrated survival, courage, and the bonds formed in the heat of danger. Earth had taken them in, and humanity had shown what it meant to be brave, kind, and wise. The Zyran had found hope, and in doing so, had also discovered the power of working together with humans, for the first time in many cycles. The Zyran believed that they could not only survive, but thrive. And the humans, too, understood that courage and compassion could change the fate of more than just themselves. The desert was quiet, but it held a promise. Tomorrow, both species would continue to build a future together, stronger than any enemy, brighter than any fear. The desert morning was calm and bright. After the recent attack from the enemy fleet, humans and Zyran worked together to repair damage and strengthen their settlement. The Zyran had survived space, escape, and battle. But now came a different challenge, building a life on a new world. Talon and Lyra were awake early, walking through the settlement to check the water systems. Small devices hummed softly, purifying water and distributing it to nearby tents. Human engineers worked alongside Zyran scientists, adjusting settings and testing outputs. "This is amazing," Talon said. "We have never seen water flow like this in such a simple way." "Yes," Lyra replied, "but it works because we are together. Humans and Zyran building it together." Mira arrived with Draven and Joran. "You both did excellent work," she said. "This system will help all of us. It is a symbol of what we can achieve together." Varan watched quietly, smiling faintly. "Yes, cooperation is stronger than fear or anger. That is how we survive and how we thrive." The children played nearby, learning games that combined human and Zyran gestures. Their laughter was bright in the sun. Humans and Zyron shared stories, crafts, and simple competitions. Every moment of learning and play strengthened bonds, and every small success brought joy. One afternoon, a meeting was held to plan long-term life on Earth. Humans and Zyron gathered around maps and holographic displays, discussing where to build new shelters, how to grow food, and how to continue sharing knowledge. "This is more than survival," Mira said. "We can build a life here. We can learn from each other and grow stronger together." Varan nodded. "Yes, safety was the first step. Now, we build a home, a place where Zyron and humans can live in peace and learn together." Talon and Lyra were assigned tasks with the human engineers. They helped design small farms, irrigation systems, and energy generators. They suggested improvements using Zyron knowledge, while humans adapted those ideas to Earth's conditions. "This is wonderful," Jordan said. "Your ideas make our systems faster and more efficient." "I never thought of this," Talon smiled. "We all think differently. That is why we work well together." Evenings were calm. Fires burned softly in the settlement, tents glowed warmly, and humans and Zyron shared meals. They exchanged stories of past worlds, of journeys across space, and of hopes for the future. The Zyrans spoke of forests, oceans, and cities they had lost. Humans shared tales of Earth's history, of exploration, invention, and courage. "I have never met a species like yours," Varan said to Mira one night. "You act with thought and heart. You choose courage when fear is possible." "That is rare," Mira smiled. "We are not perfect, but we try. And we have learned from you as well. You are brave and wise. We are stronger together." Talon and Lyra often explored the nearby desert with human children. They learned about animals, plants, and the wind. They discovered small rivers and hidden valleys, teaching the children how to observe and respect life. Every day was a lesson, every moment a chance to grow. One day, a Zyron child discovered a small plant that could survive without much water. Excited, the child ran to Mira. "Look," they said. "We can use this to grow food for everyone." Mira examined the plant carefully. "Yes, this is perfect. We can combine Zyron knowledge with human farming methods. Together, we can feed everyone." The humans began constructing larger shelters for the Zyron. These buildings were designed with both species in mind. Tall enough for Zyron, comfortable for humans, and equipped with technology to make life easier. Every structure represented collaboration, every detail a symbol of trust. One morning, a group of humans and Zyron traveled further into the desert to explore possible farmland. They measured soil, tested water sources, and marked areas for planting. Talon and Lyra worked side by side with human engineers, sharing ideas and learning new methods. "This is beautiful," Lyra said softly, looking at the desert stretching in every direction. "We thought our world was gone forever, but Earth is full of life. And now, we can help it grow even more." "Yes," Talon replied. "And it grows because we work together." Humans and Zyron both. Meanwhile, news of the Zyron settlement spread. Many humans were curious and cautious. Some feared what they did not understand. But Mira and Varan spoke openly about cooperation, learning, and the bonds formed during their journey and the recent battle. Slowly, trust grew. More humans volunteered to help the Zyron, offering skills, knowledge, and friendship. One evening, Talon and Lyra sat atop a small hill, watching the sunset over the desert. The colors were unlike anything they had seen before, orange and pink blending into purple, reflecting off the distant mountains. "Do you think we can stay here forever?" Lyra asked. "I think so," Talon replied. "Earth is different, yes, but humans are brave and kind. We have learned, we have built, and we have survived together. This can be our home." Varan joined them quietly. "We must always remember our past, but we must also embrace this future. Together, we will thrive here." Humans and Zyron, side by side. The next morning, the Zyron joined humans in planting the first cooperative crops. Children from both species worked together, carrying small plants and placing them carefully in prepared soil. Adults supervised, sharing knowledge and encouraging effort. "This is how we grow," Mira said. Not just crops, but trust, friendship, and understanding. Every plant, every action matters. Talon helped a small Zyran child plant seeds. Be careful, he said gently. Planting takes patience. You cannot rush it. Watch the soil, the water, the sun. All are important. Lyra worked with a human child, showing them how to water plants evenly. See, she said, small care makes big results. The same is true for people too. By the afternoon, the first crops were in the ground. The Zyran and humans stepped back to admire their work. It was a simple beginning, but it symbolized something far greater: life continuing, hope thriving, and collaboration growing stronger. That night, the settlement gathered for a celebration. Fires burned, music played softly, and both species shared food. Zyran shared a small, glowing fruit that they had preserved from their journey. Humans offered bread, water, and small treats. Everyone tasted the new foods, learning flavors and sharing smiles. Varan stood with Mira, looking at the gathering. We came with nowhere to go, he said quietly. Now, we are not only safe, but we are learning and growing. This is more than survival. This is life. Yes, Mira said. And it is only the beginning. Humans and Zyran together can create a future brighter than any star. This is the gift of compassion, courage, and collaboration. Talon and Lyra danced quietly with the children, imitating human movements and Zyran gestures. Laughter and joy filled the air. For the first time in cycles, they felt truly at home. The stars shone brightly overhead. The desert was peaceful. Earth had taken the Zyran in, and humans had shown what courage, kindness, and wisdom could accomplish. The Zyran had nowhere to go before. Now, they had a home, allies, and hope. Varan looked at the horizon. Tomorrow we will plant more, build more, and learn more. We will face challenges, yes, but we will face them together. Humans and Zyran, side by side, Mira nodded. And together, we will grow stronger. We will show that helping others is never weakness. It is strength, and it is what makes humanity shine. As the night deepened, humans and Zyran rested under the stars. Fires burned softly, tents glowed warmly, and children dreamed of a bright future. The Zyran had come to Earth with nowhere to go. Now, they had hope, life, and a home. Tomorrow, the settlement would grow. New crops would be planted, shelters expanded, and knowledge shared. The Zyran would continue to learn from humans, and humans would learn from the Zyran. Together, they would build a future where courage, compassion, and cooperation were stronger than fear. Earth had taken them in. Humanity had chosen courage and kindness. And the Zyran, for the first time in many cycles, believed that they could thrive, live, and dream again. The desert was quiet, but it held promise. A promise that two species, different yet alike, could face the universe together. And under the stars, that promise shone brighter than any fear, brighter than any past loss, brighter than the light of any distant world.